Welcome to Tech Intersect. I'm your host, Tonya Evans, and my life and work exist at the heart of law, business, and technology. Yeah, I've earned a few fancy titles and degrees over the years, but the bottom line is I'm a writer, speaker, teacher, and lifelong learner, and I'm really excited that you've joined me on this journey. So what is Tech Intersect? Well, it's authentic, empowering conversations with really interesting guests who demystify complex topics to prepare you for the future. Because your future is now. And it exists where law, business, and tech intersect. Get ready to listen, learn, and leverage. Let's get started. Hey everybody, it's your host with the most, Tonya Evans, and I'm taking a slight detour from the regularly scheduled guest interviews to spend a little time with you this week to talk about my free masterclasses from cash to crypto and also an upcoming course that I'm doing. I just did the first free masterclass last Saturday. It was fantastic. I had a lot of engagement and connection and also a lot of questions and follow-ups. So I thought it best to hop on to the podcast and address them all. I'm really excited about your energy, your enthusiasm, and your interest in From Cash to Crypto and really taking control and ownership over your life as we enter this new wave of the future of money, the future of entrepreneurship, and the future of work. And as you know, if you've been rolling with me for a while, I created the Advantage Evans Academy to focus on those three areas. And cryptocurrencies and blockchain really exist at the heart of all of those, the future of work, the future of money, and the future of entrepreneurship. So there's so many different ways to participate in cryptocurrencies and other crypto assets and blockchain having nothing to do with investing. Investing is an interesting component of it, and I introduced people to that side of the industry if you want to get in safely, legally, and confidently. Some things we don't do. I don't shill coins. I don't have a coin. I'm not interested in pointing you in the From Cash to Crypto course to any particular cryptocurrency, but we talk about them all. We certainly talk about the OG of crypto, Bitcoin, and use it as a basis to compare and contrast to a range of different options and coins and tokens and even the difference between a coin and a token. There is this token taxonomy, how you characterize and organize certain types of crypto assets. Some cryptographically secured assets do function well as currencies. Others may have more utility. Others function as a representation of some real world asset and therefore may be a security. So we talk about all the different types of crypto, from public coins, privacy coins, stable coins, corporate issued coins, exchange tokens, central bank digital currencies, all of the currencies. And it's important that you have information because with information, you can make better choices and decisions and stay away from scams and the legal pitfalls, the not inconsiderable legal pitfalls if you get it wrong. So in my full course, we talk about the tax implications of buying, selling, long-term, short-term investing, earning crypto, being very active in trading crypto. So you need to understand the tax implications. We also talk about the estate planning implications. What happens if it's not a matter of if, but when we leave this earthly body to go wherever it is we go after this, if you believe we go anywhere. I happen to think so, but that has nothing to do with the course. So what happens when your loved ones need to access the cryptocurrency that you've purchased? And so planning for a crypto estate is a very important module within my full course. I mentioned it in the masterclass, but we don't fully delve into it, but I highlight all of the legal issues and concerns that we do take a deeper dive into in the full course. So I wanted to go through and just let you know more about the masterclass and some of the topics, and then focus on a topic or two in particular based upon some questions that I received. Part of the masterclass experience and the full course experience is figuring out what it means to color outside of the lines of our traditional understanding of money and value and exchange and what it means to be more in control of the money that we earn, that we invest, that we save, and that we pass on to future generations. So I start with the example of, it may not be immediately apparent given the work that I'm doing to educate people in the space of cryptocurrency, blockchain, other technologies, other Web 3.0 technologies, intellectual property. I'm also an intellectual property lawyer and law professor. So all of that about my background suggests that I should be highly risk adverse. And in many ways I am, but I also am a lifelong learner. I'm also intellectually curious. I'm often an early adopter of technology, even though I don't have a technology or finance background. So coloring inside the lines might be great for an adult coloring book, right? Or anything that requires that you have a precise and exact hand. But coloring inside the lines is not great for the future of money and entrepreneurship and work, and definitely not when you want an advantage so that you're an early mover, perhaps an early adopter, and that you can really expertise yourself in a space and get ahead of the competition. I talk about my own origin story over these past 3 years, which feels like 30 years, because being in the crypto and blockchain space, it's like more than dog years. But you also have to spend a lot of time looking under the hood and figuring out how things work. You don't have to know all the things about all the things. It is impossible to do. And if anyone says they are an expert in blockchain generally, then I'd run the other way, because all of us focus on specific areas because there's so much to know that you really want to find your own way by identifying what your current expertise and interests, what those are, and then aligning that with potential disruption and opportunities from blockchain and crypto. So I did that. I did that with intellectual property. I did that with education. And some of my first speaking opportunities were talking about the potentially disruptive impact of blockchain technology on intellectual property, copyright, patent in particular, and talking about smart contracts and how to represent clients in the space, because so many lawyers were not well versed in the technology and the issues. And so I spent a lot of time in that realm. I first did it in Thailand with a fantastic firm in Thailand, Teleki and Gibbons. And there were hundreds of lawyers, and it was an amazing experience. One, to go to Thailand, which is such a beautiful, beautiful country, but also to engage with other intellectual property lawyers in a way to educate them in something that I was coming into my own with as well. As a result of that, I was able to travel to Geneva, Switzerland, and present to hundreds of staff and attorney at WIPO, the World Intellectual Property Organization. At that time, in my capacity as an intellectual property and technology online programs chair at my former law school. And that was an excellent experience as well. I'd expertised myself for many years in intellectual property and then started to take my career to the next level in education by educating those who would interact in the future with regulators and governments and individual clients. And so that was a fantastic opportunity that then led me to create the first blockchain cryptocurrency and law online certificate program at my former law school as well, where that was an opportunity to really work at the heart of not just the technology, but the legal implications, so that the next wave of lawyers will be well positioned and prepared to represent and zealously advocate for entrepreneurs and business people who needed to understand the technology to do a critical audit and inventory of whether or not this type of technology will even be relevant or helpful. Many times the answer is no. Not everything requires a blockchain. There are very specific instances. Not every business requires a crypto asset be involved. It's a very specific reason. And I spend a lot of time in the course talking about that. But you want to have lawyers who are able to represent and counsel clients in this space, and also for the client who wants to invest and make reasonable decisions. Do they have to be an accredited investor? Are they buying some type of crypto asset that functions as a security? Has the issuer of that cryptocurrency done the proper disclosures to the SEC, or done whatever disclosures are necessary, or followed the rules and the regulations before issuance. So those are all really, really important questions that need to be resolved. And, you know, we're living in an experiential age. So it's not just about the regurgitation of information that you learn, but really experiencing it, applying it, actively researching, developing skills and credentials that distinguish you from the competition, especially because there's such a dramatic shift in education, and it was happening pre-COVID, but now that we are knee deep in the midst of COVID and the devastating financial and health and social crises that we're all living in, that has fundamentally transformed the delivery of education. Some good, some positive, but we're never, quote unquote, going back. We're moving forward. And so that means there are many corporations, many employers who are now making a college degree optional. Nice to have, but people aren't going to necessarily spend 20 of their adult years adding an alphabet soup after their name. And this might be controversial, me saying this as an educator who has been in the legal academy for 14 years and a practicing lawyer for 24 years now. It's unbelievable that I said that. Whew. Pause and reflect on that. So things are fundamentally changing, and online education is important, and picking up skills and credentials along the way. So you don't even have to be an expert in crypto or blockchain to really make a difference and to really be on the fast track. Now, a question that always comes up for me is, why is this relevant to my life? It's usually a US citizen, because when you think of some alternative form of currency, the dollar's pretty grand. It's the global reserve in many respects. And we have a stable economy. It ebbs and flows and has a life cycle like all economies. And it certainly moves as a result of the stability of politics and politicians, and that's a story for another day. But in general, and in comparison to other currencies, it's a very important one. And so American citizens usually say, why is this important? Or any citizen of a country where they have stable money. But Congress is talking about adding a digital dollar. In the original version of the CARES Act, Maxine Waters and the Financial Services Committee wanted to introduce and did introduce the digital dollar. It did not survive to the end and ultimate enactment of the CARES Act, but Congress is talking about more efficient and effective ways to utilize programmable money, one, to get it to constituents more rapidly, and also because cryptocurrencies are programmable and also transparent and have a record that's preserved, you can see patterns more easily. Perhaps it will be easier to institute monetary policy and corrective measures to stabilize an economy with the use of a digital dollar as opposed to paper money. So Congress is talking about it. That's why we should care. There's also a number of blockchain proposals that have moved to the U.S. House in the Consumer Technology Bill as an amendment to it. There's this thing called the Token Taxonomy Act and other blockchain or crypto related bills that have been discussed over time, but never made it out of subcommittee. For the first time recently, I believe in early September, one or two important blockchain bills made their way out of subcommittee into full committee. And it's much more likely now that it will survive and ultimately at some point be adopted and signed into law. So it's a really exciting time. So that's another reason we should care. PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, they all care. Cash App already allows you to purchase Bitcoin, but PayPal and Venmo are now catching up. They started in the summer to roll out crypto buying and selling. And so some of the platforms that we use regularly, including banks and other financial services, it's not that they are new to the game, but they just have a new customer service issue at hand. And that customer service issue is, can we as consumers transact with each other on a peer-to-peer basis in a way that's better, faster, and cheaper, which completely would undercut the existing financial legacy structure. So These legacy players are getting into the game as well because they're being forced by market forces to make sure that they stay on top of the latest technology and provide the best customer and user experience. Visa and MasterCard, PayPal, they're changing their tune on Bitcoin and crypto as well. They used to be vehemently opposed and I believe participated in the floating of a lot of FUD, which stands for fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And now they're changing their tune because, again, it's a customer service issue. As Samson Williams, a good friend of mine from Axes and Eggs and a professor in this space as well, as he says, this is a customer service issue at this point. I also, in the free masterclasses, talk about some of the myths. I want to spend some time demystifying the space, letting people know that you want to be critical of everything you come into contact with in this space, but not everything is too complicated. Not everything is too risky. Not everything is only reserved to illegal activity or drug money or the dark web. There's certainly instances of that, but there are a lot of instances of the almighty dollar being used for drug running and illegal activity and the dark web activity, to be sure. And we talk about some of the myths around Bitcoin being anonymous or cryptocurrencies being anonymous. There are some privacy coins that help to encrypt or scramble identity, and I'm using identity in air quotes, but a public permissionless coin like Bitcoin or Ethereum, ETH, Ether, or Litecoin you may have heard of. Those are all public and permissionless coins. They are fully transparent. The record of transactions that we call the ledger is public facing. You can see it. And so it's pseudonymous, not anonymous. And there are a lot of financial forensics experts out there who are focused on following the money. And when you have a publicly facing immutable ledger, a ledger that cannot be changed, a record that cannot be changed, that means the digital story is told by following the movement of crypto from address to address.
We hope you're enjoying this edition of Tech Intersect. Our conversation will continue in a moment, but first, a word on an exciting opportunity.
There's a more cost-effective and time-efficient way to reach your leading-edge learning and earning goals to put you ahead of the stiff competition in this fast-paced, tech-driven economy. You need skills, credentials, and a fast track to a competitive advantage. You need it now more than ever, and I can help. Invest in the future you've always wanted, and in as little as 3 weeks, you'll be on your way to greater autonomy, control, and opportunity in your life. The Advantage Evans method puts you ahead of the curve with condensed, comprehensive online courses, curated content to leverage your current skills and expertise in order to succeed in the new economy, live coaching with me, networking opportunities, and a digital badge on completion. Upcoming courses include From Cash to Crypto, Buying Your First Bitcoin, and Register Right, Protecting Your IP, Brand, and Business. Ready for your advantage? Well, get on the fast track to learn and earn at AdvantageEvans.com.
And now, back to the conversation.
You love listening to podcasts, but have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? Maybe you want to build a brand, grow your business, or are looking for an excuse to talk about your favorite hobby. Whatever your reason for making a podcast, Buzzsprout is the place to start. Since 2009, Buzzsprout has helped over 300,000 people launch their own podcasts. Buzzsprout walks you step by step through the whole process and will give you powerful tools to start, grow, and monetize your podcast. Ready to get started? Click the link in the show notes to get our free step-by-step guide to starting your podcast today.
So it's important to be able to distinguish the different types of crypto before making your first purchase, or even if you purchased at some point in the past, maybe you didn't really know or understand what you were doing or what you were purchasing and want to figure it out now. And so I'm happy to help you both in my free masterclass and also in the full course. Some of the topics we cover: what is money? Certainly, what is blockchain? What is cryptocurrency? And then we focus a bit on what Bitcoin is. I get questions all the time. what's the difference between Bitcoin and blockchain? And we certainly talk about that. But one of my favorite places to begin before even getting to crypto is talking about money being a social contract that requires trust and a sufficient number of people that have the same type of money, and that merchants have to trust it and accept it. And certainly society has to trust that it's valuable and that it will hold its value over time, whatever it is. And we've had many representations of value so that people can exchange in commerce. Seashells, salt, sugarcane, gold, silver, commodities that are inherently valuable, like chickens and shoes. But then as people started to transact outside of their, smaller community, that trusted community where they had to deal with untrusted parties, they needed some trusted intermediary, some facilitator of this exchange, of this sale, of this purchase, of this business. And so that's where these quote unquote trusted intermediaries, the banks and other financial institutions or intermediaries, to be the bridge of trust between two parties who either don't know each other or don't trust each other, or both. And so we spend some time talking about that. And a question comes up a lot about the difference between cryptocurrencies and other currencies. So we focus on 5 areas: who manages it? How does it hold its value? How is it secured? How is it represented? Is it in physical form or only in digital form? And what you can do with crypto versus other currencies. And the short answer is you can shop with crypto and dine and donate and gift and tip and travel, invest and save. There are ways that you can passively earn it. Instead of cashback reward, you can get crypto, earn free Bitcoin when you shop online. And we talk about the various outlets for that, or earning different types of cryptocurrency in the attention economy. The Brave browser and their basic attention token is an example of that, in a really exciting way. And to passively get paid for the fact that you would watch ads and things of that nature. So decentralizing that attention economy is a really interesting area. Then we go through the story of Bitcoin as well, and Satoshi, and who he, she, or they might be. We don't know. Um, Talking more about the reason that Satoshi created the Bitcoin blockchain from the beginning, and to avoid what we call the double spend problem, that you should only be able to spend once. But that was highly problematic in a digital world where you could make a perfect digital copy of something without exhausting the original and send it to 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 of your not so closest friends on the internet, and undercut the ability of the creator of some digital asset to make money or otherwise control or protect it. And that was in maybe like the entertainment and media spaces. But it also is a big deal, obviously, in the currency space, where you don't want someone to only have $100 and write a check back in the day when evidently people used to write checks and send a $100 check to A and a $100 check to B, but the person only has $100 in the bank. By the time our current financial system reconciles the payment and the receipt of payment on both sides of the quote unquote ledger, and then reconciling it as between two different ledgers, there could be internal error, there can be fraud, not just with the person who's writing these bum checks, but also internally for these financial institutions. So for all of those reasons, the current financial system is not working, and a loss of trust, and necessarily so when we see these financial crashes, has led people to want to look for alternatives in addition to government issued money, also known as fiat currency, FIAT, but to have some alternative means of exchanging and transacting within the same border, but also across borders. If you've ever had to send money from the States, for example, to another country, or make some type of international money remittance, by the time you send $1,000, it's not $1,000 because it's gone through the proverbial hands of numerous intermediaries to get it to another country. The foreign exchange has to occur, and it takes a long time. And it's very costly to send money, as opposed to sending the equivalent of tens of thousands of dollars in Bitcoin, for example, that happen very, very quickly. many times within minutes. The transaction can take place, but certainly within a half an hour that you would receive confirmation based upon the system. And that's a story for another day. But you can certainly attend a free masterclass and learn more about how that functions. But what we exist in now is not a digital cash era. It really is a digital veneer based on a centuries old double entry system. And so comparing and contrasting the existing system with the plan and the promise of something like Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies is important. We spent time talking about the different types of cryptocurrencies. As of Saturday, when I taught my last masterclass, I'm looking at my notes now, over 7,200. So it's 7,279 types of cryptocurrency and counting. It's actually pretty easy to make your own, but if you're the only one who holds it, go back to the value of money and see, having a coin doesn't mean that you have any value. It's really based on supply, demand, and network effects. And so we spend some time talking about that. Of course, I always get the question about whether or not crypto is legal and its existence in the United States today and in many countries around the world. The answer is yes, but it all depends on how you use it, like any other type of currency. Are you using it for good or for evil? Are you investing in a security, but not as an accredited investor or from an issuer who is not complying with the SEC or other securities regulators around the world? So that's, you're thinking about those types of issues. But crypto in and of itself is not illegal, generally speaking. Check your local governments for more information. So scrolling through some of the other things we talk about, and it's just really exciting for me. So taking a step back from the content to talk about why I do what I do. That, I'm also the type of person that once I learn something, I want to share it with the world. And having the opportunity through an online or e-learning experience is really, really exciting for me too, because I get to interact with and connect with so many different people. I'm most excited that so many folks from underestimated communities, Black and Brown communities, women, queer communities are really coming to me because they see me as a trusted party, as someone who obviously represents from the Black community. I'm a woman, I'm a queer woman as well. And I want to empower those underestimated populations who really got left behind in the dot-com boom and bust and resurgence. This is the opportunity for those who are traditionally locked out of technology and finance and innovation and acquiring and maintaining generational wealth to really get it this time, to really position ourselves in a way to take advantage of the otherwise agnostic technology, as long as we have access to it, as long as we have access to building it. So maybe you're a coder or want to be, or you are interested in offering applications built on a decentralized web and what that might mean in your particular industry. Or you're positioning yourself as a CPA or someone who works in finance who needs to interact with people who are starting to ask you questions about cryptocurrency. You may not become an expert, but you have to know enough in order to have the conversation or to be able to advise as an intrapreneur within your organization or corporation about the potential impact of blockchain in your industry. And this technology has the potential to have at least some disruptive impact on dozens and dozens and dozens of industries. Dare I say all in some form or fashion, because Web 3.0, in addition to involving artificial intelligence and machine learning and robotics and drones and augmented reality, virtual reality, blockchain, and cryptographically secured assets. That's Web 3.0 and counting. So we have to stay on top of it so that we don't get left behind, so that we are fundamentally shifting the way we work, the way we play, the way we interact, the way we invest, the way we save, the way we build. And this type of technology has the impact to fundamentally change and hopefully improve the way we do that. And so that's why I enjoy spending time in the free masterclasses and in the course And now I hope that you will join me for an upcoming class. I have 2 upcoming classes, one on October 19th at 11 a.m. Eastern and October 26th, same time, 11 a.m. Eastern. Even if you can't make it live for any part of the time, maybe you have to hop on but hop off, definitely register and you will receive the link to the replay. So go to advantageevans.com. That's advantageevans.com. And scroll down and you'll see information about the upcoming masterclass. And you'll find out more information about the course as well. I'll share a bit now to let you know some of the things that we cover, which is very important. It's a multi-module, multi-lesson, self-guided course with opportunities for you to connect with me live and also a private community of students, past students, present students who regularly share information. It's actually a very vibrant community because it's really hard to find somebody to talk about all this stuff. Perhaps you've mentioned your interest in crypto or blockchain to friends or family members, and they tell you not to waste your time and they, pile on with the FUD. That's exactly why you have to attend a class or a course to learn the terminology, to learn what it means to buy and sell safely. I help you set up your first wallet and send you a little bit of Bitcoin so that you have the process of receiving it and then you can send it to whomever you want. We talk about exchanges, mining crypto, how to earn it passively or actively, some trading and investing 101 as a precursor to a full investing course that will be released in 2021. The legal issues in crypto that I mentioned, tax, estate planning, securities. There's a whole module with multiple lessons on the future of money and what that means for you as perhaps an entrepreneur or in your work or your career. And then, Q&A opportunities, some additional bonuses. There is always at the end of a masterclass an opportunity to enroll at a discounted rate. So the standard investment for the entire course is $14.97. And I changed the discount from masterclass to masterclass. But if you hop on the masterclass, you can be assured to be offered some discount off of the $14.97 regular enrollment investment. My next course, From Cash to Crypto, opens November 2nd. So if you're already ready to enroll or pay a seat deposit and then defer other payments over time, you're welcome to do that. Go to advantageevans.com, click on enroll now, and you'll be taken through a series of steps to get you in the class. I do have to cap them. Part of the magic of the course is keeping the numbers manageable so that I can reasonably show up and provide support. I also have a student engagement lead, Crystal Houston, who is actively involved as well to provide the support that we need. But I can't have 2,000 people. I would love 2,000 people at this rate, but I like to keep it relatively small so that I can have more direct engagement with you. Every course that I have offered over the summer has sold out. This one will be no exception. If you're ready to go, please go to advantageevans.com and sign up for the full course. There's paid in full bonuses, but you can also pay over time or join me for my next free masterclass on October 19th or October 26th, and you can register for those at the website as well. All right. I think that's all I want to share today. I will save the rest of the magic for when you join me at a future masterclass or course. Please like, share, comment, follow me on social media at Advantage Evans across all platforms or IP Prof Evans. PROF as in Frank, which stands for professor. IP Prof Evans. I love the Twitters and I'd love to engage with you. You can also use the hashtag From Cash to Crypto. I scan that and answer questions both in the class and also from time to time, I'll start doing that on this here podcast. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Until next time, continue to shine.
Stay in touch with host Tonya Evans via your favorite social media. On Twitter at Tech Intersect and on Instagram via the handle Tech Intersect. This podcast has been produced by Stephanie Renee for Soul Sanctuary, Incorporated.